In episode 11.3 of Unshuffled, we discuss the third album from LCD Soundsystem. It's called This Is Happening. Let's check it out. Welcome to Unshuffled. Welcome, listeners. I'm your host, Matt. And joining me from Japan, Mr. Scotty D.
Matt, this is happening.
It really is.
See what I did there?
Yes. I like it. There's a name for that. I don't know what it is, but it's good. It's good podcasting is what it is.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. That's what I'm going for. That's what we do here, quality.
Yes. The album that we are looking at today is called This Is Happening. It's the third album from LCD Soundsystem. So if you're not familiar with what we do, we pick a band, we run through their albums one by one, and we have a good look at them. We have a listen. You should have listened to the album too. If you haven't listened to This Is Happening by LCD Soundsystem, you should go and give it a listen and then come back and rejoin us, pick things up from where you paused it. And because we're going to talk about the album in detail, starting with the what would you call these? The
deets?
The details of the album, which Scott always provides us. So lead us off, Scotty. Tell us about it.
Yeah, here we go. So the release date for this one was May 17th, 2010, which is, 3 years? Yeah, 3 years and change from the last album, Sound of Silver. Produced by, this time, just James Murphy's name pops up. Remember, the last one was the DFA, and this one they're just sort of saying James Murphy. Label, however, still DFA, and then Virgin Parlophone. Recorded at the Mansion in LA, and then DFA Studio in New York. The album artwork, again, I don't have any info on the artwork. It looks like I'm assuming a photo by somebody. Someone took that picture. Anyway, there it is. There he is. Podcasters, if you can see what Matt's holding up, he's getting doing a little dance there, dancing himself clean,
wearing a suit. I gotta say, I don't think album artwork is this band's strong point. Nothing's really grabbed me so far.
No.
One thing you don't have, which I do, is the CD booklet.
Yeah.
And the last album didn't have a CD booklet. I criticised it heavily. But this one is a little better in that regard. And at the end of each track, it's got this list of it's like, let me give you an example. One Touch, the third track. It says James Murphy, drums, Yamaha CS60, Roland TR606, noise, vocals, claps, glockenspiel and percussion, EML 101, Casio, and I won't go on, but you can see where this is going, right? The Fun Machine gets a mention on a few of the tracks, whatever that is. Nancy Wang is yells, Gavin Rossum is whispers. So they give you quite a bit of detail. Remember we were saying, where do these noises come from? Here we can actually see what's making the noises. So these Roland, there's 808s and all the 101s, there's Korg, Yamaha, these sorts of things. So I like that. I like that there's a little more detail and you could actually go and look up these things and say, oh, that thing made that noise. Casio, they make calculators, don't they?
They do make calculators.
So as we go, and as specific tracks, as we discuss specific tracks, we'll have that information at hand. Listeners will be able to tell you a little bit about each one.
I had a question about an 808 and a 101, but I don't think they're good questions. I don't think it's going to lead to anything interesting, so I'm just going to table it.
Well, the Roland, I'm no expert. Other than the 808 is like famous, right?
Kanye.
Like that whole through the 90s and beyond, the 808 dominated electronic music,
Right.
and I mean that's about as much as I know. I used to play around a little bit with this program called Reason, which had an 808 emulator in it, and you could do all the things you could do and program a drum beat and make some noises. They're good fun. They're good fun. But yeah, very sort of familiar sound in electronic music.
So Roland Japan has this awesome site. I'll link it to the show notes of the 808, and it's like walks you through it. There's a video. This is awesome. I'm gonna link it to the show notes.
All right, cool. Well outside our normal wheelhouse, this stuff, but interesting nonetheless, and yeah, so widely used. So anyway, that gets a lot of credits, as do many other things, all sorts of different things, which we'll discuss as we go. But yeah, 2010. So technically, for a while at least, this was their final ever album. Like this was the one that they were finishing on, and they announced not long after this one. I can't remember exactly when they announced that we're breaking up. This is our last ever gig. So for a while, fans thought this was the last album from LCD Soundsystem they were ever going to get.
So I've got that in our what were they thinking, our final category.
Yeah, or maybe we can come back to that.
or we can just do it now.
All right, let's do it now. What were they thinking?
So let's just go ahead and start with that. So yeah, from what I had read, and I found, and I'll link this to the show notes as well, I had found an interview with him where he had said that he had envisioned, so I guess the story of LCD Soundsystem was he was faffing around, he and his buddy, who I've lost track of his name, the other fella from DFA. They were kind of just faffing around. They created this album. They did not expect it to be what it was. And the idea was it was only ever going to be a trilogy. Oh, it was in The Guardian. But was that, I don't know if that was really how it was envisioned or if that was just something he said to justify breaking up the band at the time.
Right.
But yeah, it all led up to that live album, which I'll talk about a little bit here because some of the versions of the songs from this album are so good on that live version. And
right.
and I'll talk a little bit about that. But you know more about that because you sent me that article sort of about what this had all led up to.
Yeah, and I mean the story goes that they were struggling to sell out that Madison Square Gardens gig, and there was talk of getting a support act in, and in a huff, this James Murphy guy said, "Well, it'd sell out if it was our last ever show," and like that kind of became yes, it's going to be our last ever show, and yeah, it all came across as very unplanned, and he just sort of ended the band in a huffy moment. We've all had huffy moments where we've done things we regret, but I don't know how pre-planned ending the band was. And then, I mean, we're going to talk about the next album in the next episode, but part of the band's problem after this album was the fact that the fans felt a bit, what's the word, betrayed? I don't know. It felt like they'd had their emotions played with when he told them all it was their last ever album, their last ever gig, and then popped up again 2 years later. Said, no, it wasn't. Anyway.
Hasn't Motley Crue made a career out of that?
Yeah, I guess. And there's plenty of other bands that have had last ever tours and just keep doing it again and again. So I don't know. It's that big a deal.
Yeah. I'm sure their fans have gotten over it.
Yeah. I'm sure. All right. So it's not their last ever album. There is one more, but anyway, we still need to talk about it. So let's start with the opening track. It's called Dance Yourself Clean, and it's one of their biggest hits, I think. I think it would get played at pretty much every gig they play. What did you think about this as an opening track and as a
So
song generally?
I don't know. I wasn't this song. This song grew on me. I guess I wasn't sure what to think of at first. I really like the percussive effects. I like how it builds up into like this cool synth dance. But then when I heard the live version of the song, and this is where I was kind of talking about that on that album, on that the Long Goodbye. It's the set opener, or it's the opener of that particular show, and it's so awesome. And he's got it's there's this mix of, you can really hear, that's where you hear like the live instruments coming through, right? So if there's a glockenspiel, you really hear it on sort of those live performances. And it's that mix of the sort of these electronic instruments, these live instruments. It totally plays with dynamics and tension, building on volume while interweaving the electronics and the live instruments. So in the end, my new take on this is, so I started as uncertain, and my new take is, I think that this is the best opening track of the trilogy. Of the 3 albums we've had so far, to me, this is their best opener.
Okay. Yeah. I like this one too, with a couple of reservations, which I'll get to. I love at first, remember we talk about the different singing styles, and I'm going to talk about his singing on this album generally later, but this starts with that Bert and Ernie singing voice that we identified in a previous album, and it's a really slow build-up, and I don't even, is that even him singing in the opening verse or two, that walking up to me, that expecting words?
I assume so.
It's so different to the way he sings later on. I guess it's him, but I mean, maybe you've seen it live. Maybe you can confirm it. But then it changes. I can't help, but I don't know. That the start's a little bit slow, but once that synthy bit kicks in, I can't help but like it. And it's so striking that and quite unusual, the sounds that come in at that point. Really retro sounds, but recorded in a really modern way. It sort of reminds me of some of the sounds that I would get out of my computers when I was a kid, like a Commodore 64 or my Amiga or something. It's got that sort of 80s, early 90s sound in the electronic sounds there. And like, another thing I really like about this band is the louds are really loud and the quiets are really quiet. It's not all compressed like a lot of modern music can be, where it's all loud. Here, because the quiet bits are so quiet, when those loud bits come in, man, it sort of knocks your socks off. So that I really like. You know, those electronic stabs and the percussion really cut through. As a lot of, when you listen to 80s music, that's one thing that stands out. And it's the same with this band. My big reservation is, though, that it is a rip-off, this song. And it's a rip-off of a song by a band called Jamaica Running or Runnings. And, I mean, it's so close to that song. I think it's called The Pool. And, I mean, I'm not the first to notice this. This is widely discussed, how similar these songs are. I felt like once I heard the other, like I loved this song, and then I heard the other song, and that sort of took the shine off it for me. And almost to the point where I think he should have given that band some songwriting credits. It's very close. Now, I know that's a thing in electronic music. I guess I'm just not used to it. I don't know. I want to talk. It happens a bit on this album, and I want to discuss that in some detail with you later on. But so I might just park it for now.
Okay.
And we'll move on to our next category. But I did enjoy listening to the song, but then that just took the shine off.
So you sent me that track, and I listened to it, but I guess I didn't listen to it close enough to be able to answer my own question here. So it goes beyond a sample.
Yeah, I mean it's the same. It's basically the same chord progression and percussion. That dum dum and the
Yeah.
percussion, like it. And the first few minutes are almost identical, but
Hmm.
obviously there's a lot more to it. But it's built. The foundation is built on this other song. So I don't know. It's a fine line between being influenced by and ripping off. And I think this band on this album he gets too close to the ripping off side of things a few times, more than once.
Hmm.
So perhaps we can discuss that on some other tracks as well. What? So this you obviously really like this song. Was it your favorite song on the album, or is there another one?
No, my favorite song on the album was "All I Want."
And also mine. That was my favorite too. So
Yeah.
we've got some agreement there. Tell me why.
The riff that runs through it is so. This feels straight out of David Bowie's Heroes. It's got kind of that soaring guitar riff. It's got that cool little maybe it's an 808. I don't know. That Casio tone kind of bit during the solo. The vocals, I think we talked about sort of the vocal stylings and what they reminded us of last time. This one had a definite Killers vibe to it, sort of a pleading kind of mood to the whole thing. I like how, again, just sort of playing with like the sound and the dynamics, the tension builds, that sort of like cacophony that just kind of comes in and out, and it just gets layered, right? So as the song builds, more and more instruments are coming in and just keep getting louder. So that was my favorite track, I think.
Yeah, you've ticked a couple of the boxes that I mentioned there. Layers, I love the layers in this song as well, and the way they unpack it all at the end and sort of they really make it clear what the layers that you've been listening to were, and it kind of helps make sense of the song. I like it. I too noticed the David Bowie Heroes influence, and but I think influence is the right word here. I wouldn't call this one a rip off of Heroes. It's just it's influenced by it. The other band that I thought of with this song was the Dandy Warhols for some reason. It has that alt rock vibe. I don't know. It just sort of grooves along, but it never gets boring. It's a very cruisy song, but you can just keep listening to it. It could go on for another 10 minutes and be fine. I don't know what it's about, but yeah, it was just a fun, cruisy song. I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
I've only heard maybe 2 Dandy Warhol songs. Should I hear more?
Well, that's about all I've heard as well. But this is what
Fair
it
enough.
reminded me of.
Fair enough. Yeah, I got a grower. And this, I don't know. This one might surprise you because
Yeah.
it surprised me. I think when I first heard this song, I was
Growers
just
do
like,
that. Growers sneak up
they,
on you.
they do. And this one, when I first heard it, I was just like, ugh. And then it grew on me. It's Pow Pow.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I found on later listens that I was like, oh, this song's fun. And it's got space lasers. I was probably won over by the space lasers. I love space lasers in my music. Apparently, I'm learning this about myself. There's like that hippie drum circle in the background. There's sort of the self-conscious stream of conscious lyrics that leads up to the pow, 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 pow. Are we going to get sued for that? And that opens up with the sort of that bass that just drives the song all the way to the end. You've got Nancy Wang back there yelling. She's like layering on the pow pows. I'd like space lasers and Nancy Wang. I think that's part of my formula for a song. What I'm looking for.
Okay. It never quite got there. It never quite won me over. I can see it. So I think this was the first single from the album. There's a
Oh,
film
was it?
clip of it,
I didn't see it.
and it felt to me like one of the most original songs on the album. Maybe it's just because and there's always with this band when you think, oh, that's really original, because they've caught you out a few times before. You think maybe I just haven't heard the song that they're heavily influenced by with this one. But yeah, and I really like the vocals. I love that stream of consciousness vocal stuff. Some really clever stuff in there. I like it. But it's not my grower. My grower was I Can Change, which I really liked. So one of the styles that we've spoken about is that Kraftwerk repetitive robot dancey rock stuff.
Hmm.
And this fits heavily into that category. But what I love, what makes this song, what made it grow on me so much was the vocal performance on this one. And this idea of, and the lyrics, I still like his lyrics, and there's some great lyrics on this album. But this, I really like the idea of the question, like, can people change? Like, I think that's just an interesting thing to sort of think about. Like, do people really change? This guy is saying, I can change if it helps you fall in love, but he's saying that, but he's saying, but you never change. Like, you stay the same, but I'll change. I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting lyrical concept, and it was a great 1-2 punch with the previous song, which was both All I Want, Our Killer. So tracks 4 and 5 I thought were the sort of peak of the album for me, and track 5 really grew on me and became one of my favorite tracks.
Yeah, this track was this was up there. I had read some description. I didn't come up with this, but somewhere I had read described the song as nakedly emotional, I think is absolutely it. There's a cleanness to this song, but it's like it still has a bit of an edge to it. I think like the bleeps and the bloops that kind of come in. It's just like you ever get one of those first pressings of, like, if you get a book and they have the first pressings where the pages are sort of kind of edged. I don't know if you know, like, it's not a clean cut page. You've got kind of that sort of ragged, torn page ends. Nothing.
I've never had that. No.
All right. Anyway. It reminds me of that. There's like this cleanness to it, but it's still kind of just serrated on the edges. I don't know if I'm describing how I'm visualizing this song. Anyway, great song. Nice. I agree with you.
Nice metaphor. Or was that a simile? I don't know. It was a simile, wasn't it? Love is what's there's some metaphors and similes. There's some good lyrics in this. There's metaphors in that song, right? Love is a.
Oh, I don't know the
what
lyrics.
Is it?
I'll pull it up. Mm-hmm. Careful with the hum in there. You're gonna get us sued.
No. Look, if James Murphy sues anyone ever for ripping off things, man.
Here, I got it.
Love is a curse shoved in a hearse. Love is an open book to a verse of your bad poetry. And this is coming from me. I don't know. Really nice lyrics. I mean, the last album had those really, the one about all my friends, and there was the one about someone great, about losing. There was a sort of emotional peak in the middle of that last album as well, and this has a similar middle section here, I think. All right. Anyway, that was my grower. We've probably spoken about it too long. What's our next category? It is
filler.
The filler. Do you have anything
negative
to say about this album?
With only 9 songs, I don't know that there is a filler. I think if I have to pick a least favorite track on the album, it would be One Touch. It's got Nancy Wang.
Yeah, I was about to defend it.
It should stick with me, but it just, for whatever reason, it doesn't. It's my least favorite just purely because it's the least memorable. Even as I was going through and listening on the multiple times and taking notes, it's just like I'm so glad we don't go track by track anymore, because I don't know what I would have said about this song.
It's very repetitive, isn't it?
Yep.
It's long and just. I guess it's a dance floor song, but I wouldn't know about dance floors. My filler. So my repeated criticism of this on this album in particular, more so than the other albums, I think, is how close they get to ripping things off, and I think it goes too far on track 8. Somebody's Calling Me. So this is an Iggy Pop song called Nightclubbing from an album called The Idiot, and it's a blatant ripoff. And it came off. I don't know. It's come on the back of a series of close transgressions. Like there's that first track, Drunk Girls rips off a little bit, Velvet Underground, and then you had All I Want, which we both love, but it was very Heroesy, David Bowie, and this one is just the song. This is just the nightclubbing song by Iggy Pop. So I don't know. At that point, I'm thinking, man, who are you? Like, I don't know. That really annoyed me. That one.
Yeah.
It annoyed me. It's too like do be influenced, and Talking Heads are a big influence as well. And the last track has a big Talking Heads influence, but this one just flew too close to the sun for me, too close to the edge. So it became my filler because you can't do that. You can't be doing that, James.
Well, he's doing. I think he is, and he's doing all right.
Yeah, he's doing all right. He's doing all right.
All right, stand up moment.
Yep.
Do you have one? Do you want to go first?
No, you go first. Well, I think
Okay.
of mine.
Okay, mine is. I think the last episode. I wasn't totally sure on where I was with the LCD Soundsystem. I really like this album, and I guess I was going to save it for the end, but I'll just go ahead and talk about it now because it feeds into what I'm about ready to say. I think of the three albums, I think this is my favorite one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's possible that it took three albums for me to sort of, because this isn't something that I'm typically listening to, right? I'm not super familiar with this genre, so maybe it took three albums for me to sort of get what they're doing, right? Maybe now I can go back and listen to the first two and appreciate those. Anyway, this is my favorite of the three, despite the fact that reviews suggest it's the least good of the three. But anyway, so my standout moment is just that it was the run on tracks 4, 5, and 6 won me over. It was going just from All I Want to I Can Change to You Wanted a Hit. And I just, those three tracks plus once Dance Yourself Clean kind of locked me in. I've got
and Pow Pow grew on you as well,
and then Pow Pow grew on me as well. So yeah, I guess 4, 5, 6, and 7. Just that run of tracks. I feel like they're just solid. Just a solid 3 to 4 track run. Yeah, and I love the sound of this album altogether. It was a fun album. It possibly had to do with the timing of when I was listening to this is when spring was doing its thing here and windows were open, and it was kind of, it all just felt like I was listening to it under the right circumstances.
I got to say, that week when the windows go from closed to open at night, I think that's my favorite week of the year. And then you just know you've got 6 glorious months ahead. Yeah, I do. You Wanted a Hit is also an excellent song, so I'm glad you enjoyed that too. Very patient, 9 minutes. Like, these are long songs, right? But yeah, I like that one as well. I think my standout moment is more a standout. I guess perhaps I should talk about it in the Brownlow, but it's just the singing throughout. Like, I just think, and we've often said with previous bands, it's the vocalist that you can see the most growth in from the first album to the last. And I think he's become such a good singer on this album. And that I Can Change is so good. The way he sings on that first song, Dance Yourself Clean, once the sort of vocals change, the vocal style changes, and I just think the vocal performance throughout is excellent. And there's less. I think he's sort of found his voice here more so than on the previous albums. Like, he's found the style that suits him best, and that's what he sings in, rather than there's less. I don't know if there's any of that nasal stuff that he uses on the first album or two. I don't know that he uses that at all on this album. It's like he sings, and he sings well. and I like to hear a singer that, you know, finds their voice and yeah, he's really good singing and great lyrics too. He's a really good lyricist, but also now I think a really good singer. So that's my standout moment. The vocal performance generally, standout lyric, best or worst. There's so many. Have you got one in particular?
Yeah, I took mine from You Wanted a Hit. I just thought it was funny. It was the line where he says, "Yeah, you wanted the time, but maybe I can't do time. We both know that that's an awful line, but it doesn't make it wrong." I don't know. Just sort of that.
Yeah. He's very self-aware in his lyrics,
Mm-hmm.
and as he was in that. I mentioned one already where he shows some self-awareness, and that's probably mine. Love is an open book in a verse of your bad poetry, and this is coming from me. So I love that self-deprecation and so, you know, that cleverness in the lyrics, and but also, yeah, some really heartfelt stuff from time to time as well, and then just some stream of consciousness stuff as well. So lots of not just different singing styles, but also different lyrical styles, but all well done. But yeah, that was my standout. What were they thinking? We've kind of spoken about that. What were they thinking announcing that they were breaking up and then not breaking up?
Hmm.
And also, what were they thinking? Like taking their influences and especially on track 8, not really changing it, but just sort of copying copying the song. And a couple of other times, I thought, yeah, maybe you should have just reworked it a little and made it less obvious. But anyway, that was my what were they thinking. Bam Brownlow, let me guess the 3 votes. Murphy.
Well, right?
Yeah, Murphy.
I mean, it's got to be.
Yeah, it's Murphy.
It's the 2 and the 1 that are up for debate.
Can I leave mine blank? I don't know. Can we?
Yeah, you did that last time.
I think I'm doing it again.
All right, I'm not.
I like Nancy's yells, but I can't give someone 2 votes for yelling every now and then.
Well,
otherwise my daughter would get 2. My daughter would get 2 votes every day.
Well, then write her in, damn it. I'm giving my 2 votes to Patrick Mahoney because James Murphy didn't do this alone. He did have co-songwriters, and Patrick Mahoney was in on a couple of those tracks on the 4, 5, 6, and I think he co-wrote track 1 as well. No, he did not, but he's there for tracks, a couple of the 4, 5, and 6.
Drunk Girls, I Can Change, Pow Pow, and that's it.
All right.
But yeah, he's there. That's
he's
3
there.
or 4 songs. That'll do.
And then Nancy Wang gets my 1 vote because she helped write Pow Pow and does the L's. And she might be the source of space lasers. Who knows?
It's possible. I'll know in a couple of months when I see him live.
Oh God, that's right. You're going to see him, aren't
you? Mm-hmm.
Take a picture of that fun machine.
If I managed to, it would be my first time lasting past midnight at a festival for a long time. But
Jesus,
I may just say, can you just record this for me? Because they are headlining, so it's going to be late. That's going to be a late night for me. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see. I should do it. I'll do it for the podcast. I'll take one for the team.
Look, I get it. It's an easy thing to talk about now, but when the time comes and all of a sudden it hits 8:30 and you're just like, shit, this is not happening. There's no way I've got 4 more hours in me.
Yeah. I could get a taxi home now and be in bed.
Beat the crowd. I mean, doesn't that become like I got to get out before everybody else does because I'll be here. I'll never get to go home. Otherwise, I'll have to move here, sleep on the floor.
Look, I'll tell you what. The next album will decide it for me.
Mm-hmm.
The next album. Let's hope it's a good one. It'd want to be because they need to appease their fans who are annoyed because they said they were breaking up.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got that to look forward to. Listeners, make sure you come along for the ride with us and have a listen to the next one as well. But it's been a quick one. This new format, we're getting through these, bang, knocking them out.
Yeah, that was kind of the point, though, wasn't it? Weren't
That
the
was the
old
point.
ones? They were dragging on. We had like Lord of the Rings style. I mean, it was just
Yeah.
going on for 3 hours.
Yes. Yeah. About 45 minutes in. Let's talk about track 2 now. So you've been doing a lot of flying. Any stories from your travels or anything to any bands you've seen or anything happening over there in Japan?
I
Cherry
did
blossoms out.
Cherry Blossoms out and gone. That
Ah,
was fast. I did see Elvis Costello
nice.
in yeah, I saw him in this the Symphony Hall in Osaka, and just somehow we ended up in the like fourth row, so like Elvis like right there. And it was just him and Steve Naive, the former keyboard player from the Imposters, the Attractions. I don't
He
know.
must be
He's
getting
been
old now, Elvis Costello.
yeah, oh, yeah. I mean, I didn't mean it quite like that. He sounds great. Like, he sounds great, but he does have a bit of that shuffle to his step that kind of as sets in with age.
The Biden
Um,
shuffle.
yeah. There's a bit of that. But anyway, so this whole symphony hall is built around this massive pipe organ.
Right. Did it get you?
And yes, so Steve Naive, I mean, he climbs up into the balcony, and then they played at least 3 songs on the pipe organ,
Wow.
and the thing is I'm not, I
No, no,
don't,
no, 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 no.
I don't know Elvis Costello well. He's right, so I know what I know, and I don't
He's a
know
musician's
much.
musician, right?
Yeah. And I get it. I totally get it, because he talked a lot about his sort of musical influences, and it was just like, oh yeah, he grew up on music of all different kinds. But anyway, it was like deep cut after deep cut, and he'd come up to the mic and he's like, I'm gonna play another one for you that I haven't played in years. And it's just like, shit, man, I got nothing. Elvis, you've played one song this entire night that I know.
Right.
Um, and I think he played but it was good. It was entertaining. Here's my other thing that I learned, and I learned this when I went to see. So I saw Queens of the Stone Age, and ended up having to sit. I could only get seats
Yeah.
get a place in the scene, and then went to see Wilco, where I was standing,
Yeah.
and I
And there
realized.
was a drunk guy at all these gigs. Was he at Elvis Costello as well?
No, he wasn't. No. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, there was that drunk guy that keeps shouting and pissing. Yeah, no, he was not there at Elvis Costello. The audience was
Okay.
super, just polite and quiet
Right.
and
As you would
responsive.
hope.
Yeah, right. Although the guy in front of me, as much as I said these were deep cuts, this guy knew everything. Like,
Right.
he was grooving, he was singing along and what he thought the words were as best as he could.
Okay.
But anyway, it was hell. My story had a point and I forgot it. Riveting podcasting. Where the hell was I going with that? Son of a bitch.
One thing
All
you
right.
realised, having been to the
That was
it
it.
was
It's
about
not even
sitting
that
and
good.
standing.
I just built up the ending for nothing.
Standing's better.
I'm a sitting guy now.
Oh, you're a
Somewhere
sitting guy
along the
now.
way, I've realized, I guess I'm a sitting guy.
No.
I evidently, because
Oh
with
man, what happened?
standing at Wilco, I was just like, oh, for the love of God. I should have brought, like those old guys in the airports that have like that weird tripod thing that flips out into a seat, and then they just sit there in the line. I'm that guy now, I think.
Oh no, what
Yeah.
happened? Oh, at least the drunk guy wasn't there. That would not have been a good fit at the Elvis Costello.
Elvis Costello would have fought him. He would have.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still got a bit of it in him. You saw it. He'd have come down and just had his way with the guy.
Oh, that's nice. All right, I haven't been to any gigs. I've got a couple coming up. We're moving into festival season here in Europe. There's bands about in the next few months, and there's one. I bought tickets for a band called All Them Witches, who I haven't heard, and I might actually suggest we call an audible after the next after we finish off LCD Sound System. I'll run that past you next episode anyway.
Well, you don't need
See if we
to.
can sneak some all them. See if we can sneak some all them witches in before we get to Tame Impala.
All right, but I'm just saying, let's do it. I'm down.
Oh, okay. Oh, that was easy. I thought I'd have to state my case and make an argument and defend it.
No. Let's do it.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So you haven't heard them either, then, obviously.
No, I haven't.
Oh, good. All right. I feel like something heavy, you know.
Yeah.
Not that they're super heavy. They're not death metal or anything, but I just feel like something with a bit of crunch.
Yep.
After all this electronic stuff, and then Tame Impala should be a little bit cruisier after that, and then we'll see where we take it. Who knows, listeners? That's part of the fun, huh? We just never know which band we're going to look at next. But we've got one more left with this band, LCD Sound System. So stick with us, listeners. Hopefully it won't be too long before we get that one done and posted. But we'll get to it when we get to it, as we always do. Thanks for listening. Please contact us. You'll find all our past episodes at unshuffledpod.com, including show notes whenever I get to them. We're on Twitter at unshuffledpod. Feel free to follow or message that way, or send us an email, unshuffledpod@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you, Small Stones. Thank you, Small Stone Records. Always mark of quality. Check them out, especially the band Seven Planets, whose song you hear in the intro and you're about to hear in the outro as well. The track is called Vanguard off the album Explorer, which is great. And there's no vocals, so you can just do what you got to do without the distraction of the vocals. Just a groovy little instrumental stoner rock album, which is great. Thanks to you, Scott, and thank you, listeners. It's always a pleasure, and we're looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, no, thank you, Matt. Thank you, listener.